NBC's Chuck Todd is here, as is Kasie Hunt, who covers the Hill for us. Guys, good morning.
Chuck, this does not feel like a midterm at all. I mean, the voter turnout's extraordinary, the amount of money on ads everywhere you turn. This is feeling more and more like a general election. And President Trump even said, vote as if I am on the ballot.
And we're seeing evidence that it's there. This is a mini presidential, the early vote numbers that we've been talking about. I think we may cross 100 million total vote. That is, it was only, I believe, in the 96 and then 2000 presidential elections that we crossed the 100 million mark in presidential elections. So it's that big a deal. And here's the thing, and I don't just say this as a cop-out. When you have a turnout like this, it makes polls, it's going to make pollsters look ridiculous, not because they don't do a good job, but because you cannot accommodate for all these new voters in any sort of model.
100 million people, nobody knows who exactly is showing up.
100 million are.
Yeah, and that makes the job of pollsters very difficult. So here's what's at stake. I mean, obviously, control of Congress. In particular, Democrats really feel, Kasie, that they have a chance to take back control of the House. That's the so-called blue wave. What are you hearing from your sources?
Yeah, that is really going to be the big story on election night. And the reality is, my sources are looking at a lot of the same information that Chuck is looking at. They're doing their own looks inside their campaigns. The sources I'm talking to, by and large, they believe Democrats are going to take back the House. The question is by how many seats? Are they going to have just the most narrow of a majority, or is it really going to sweep through? And I think, again, it goes to this question of who actually comes out to the polls.
Well, and we're dogging the polls a little bit, but we do have fresh poll numbers. We got Missouri and Florida, two really tight races. Yeah. So in Missouri, Claire McCaskill, the incumbent, who's been behind in a lot of the polling, here's what we showed this morning. She's ahead.
We've got her ahead, and it's a look. This comports to what we're hearing on the ground, that there has been a movement towards her. Now, this is the first poll I've seen in a while that's had her ahead, and it's surprising a lot of people that she's ahead, but it's not surprising that this thing tightened. Look, the Republican candidate unexpectedly canceled on us on Meet the Press at 4 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon, just before.
Chuck's saying, don't cancel Meet the Press or your poll numbers.
I mean, I'm not putting a connection, but they felt as if, they've had some tough coverage in the last week. Something is happening there. One thing about our Marist pollsters, the way they do their likely voter model, they actually may have a better way of capturing new voters than more traditional likely voter models. And that's why if something is changed quickly, you're likely to see it in our
Okay, well, then we have Florida, too, and this is a big one, the governor's race and the Senate race there. And on that one, Kasie, the Democrats are ahead in our latest poll.
Really, really remarkable. Not necessarily what we expected to see when we started out covering this. And Chuck knows this better than anyone as being from Florida. But the excitement among Democrats for Andrew Gillum is just off the charts. And that's really, I think, helping carry other Democrats who are running in what might otherwise have been a tough
environment. I had a Democratic strategist so cocky about Florida on behalf of Democrats that that person thinks he's going to make the 9 p.m. tip-off tonight of Florida State basketball, meaning that he thinks we'll be able to call the race
on Tuesday night.
On Tuesday night, by the time Florida State tips off in their pre-conference basketball game, I said, buddy, it's Florida. As somebody who's taken months to call Florida, I wouldn't be so cocky. But that is how confident Democrats feel in Florida.
Well, it's going to be an interesting night. We will see as you say, there's kind of three issues in this election: immigration, health care, and the president. And we'll see how it all shakes out.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much. We're going to have a lot more on the midterms and the mood of voters just ahead. And stay with NBC News, because it's going to be a long night for us. The results roll in tomorrow night. We will start at 8 p.m. 7 Central.